Hello, grade 12s, and welcome. Today we're going to tackle the hormonal control of the menstrual cycle. Now, I know this topic can seem complicated, but my goal here is to make it so logical, so clear, that it becomes a section in your exam where you can confidently bank some easy marks.
So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to build this whole story, piece by logical piece. We'll start by meeting our main characters, the hormones, and we'll finish up by looking at exactly how you can use this knowledge to nail those exam questions. Stick with me, and you'll walk away feeling much more confident. All right, let's dive right in. Look, the absolute key to understanding this entire process is to first get to know the main players in our story. We've got the glands, and we've got the hormones they produce. Just think of the glands as the factories, and the hormones are like tiny messengers carrying instructions through the blood. Now, our whole story takes place in 4 key spots. It all kicks off in the brain, with the pituitary gland acting as, like, the big boss, the control center. The pituitary then sends messages down to the ovaries. The ovaries get these messages and then send out their own hormones, which have a big effect on the uterus. So what you've got is this constant chemical chat happening between the brain, the ovaries, and the uterus. It's really cool. Okay, our very first hormone is FSH. And guys, the name, follicle-stimulating hormone, is a massive clue. Examiners love it when you use the full name. It comes from the pituitary gland, travels down to an ovary, and, you guessed it, it stimulates a follicle, getting it to grow and mature. Simple as that. The name tells you everything.
Right, so as that follicle starts growing, it's not just sitting there. It actually becomes its own little hormone factory, and it starts pumping out estrogen. Estrogen's main job at this stage is to travel over to the uterus and start rebuilding the endometrium. That's the cushy, nutrient-rich lining that was lost during the last period.
Next up, we have LH, or luteinizing hormone. This is the other hormone that comes from our control center, the pituitary gland. And LH, well, it has a very, very dramatic role to play. It's the one that triggers the main event of the whole cycle, ovulation. It's the superstar of the show. And finally, let's meet progesterone. The way I always remember this one is to think pro-pregnancy. Its whole job is to prepare for and support a potential pregnancy. It's made after ovulation, and its main gig is to keep that uterine lining thick, cozy, and ready for an embryo.
Okay, we've met the cast. Now let's see how the play unfolds. We're starting with Act 1, the follicular phase. This is what happens in roughly the first 13 days of the cycle, and it's all about how these hormones start talking to each other.
So picture this. It all starts on day 1, the first day of menstruation. At this exact moment, all the hormone levels in the body are super low. The pituitary gland in the brain senses this drop, and it's like a manager seeing an empty factory floor. It says, right, time to get a new cycle started, and it releases our first hormone, FSH.
Now, if you're going to remember anything, let it be this simple cause and effect chain on this slide. Honestly, this is the key to it all. Step 1, the pituitary sends out FSH. Step 2, FSH tells a follicle in the ovary to grow. Step 3, as the follicle grows, it produces estrogen. See? It's just like a set of dominoes falling. One thing directly causes the next.
Now, estrogen is a pretty clever multitasker. As its levels start to climb, it does 2 really important things at the same time. Job 1, it tells the uterus, hey, start rebuilding that lining. Job 2, it sends a message back up to the pituitary gland saying, okay, thanks for the FSH, but we've got a follicle growing now, so you can ease up. This is a perfect example of negative feedback.
And just like that, we've reached the halfway mark, around day 14. This is it. This is the massive turning point of the cycle, where the whole hormonal conversation completely flips, leading to the main event.
So get this. This is the big plot twist. Remember how rising estrogen was telling the pituitary to calm down with the FSH? Well, once estrogen hits a really high peak, it flips a switch. Instead of inhibiting the pituitary, it suddenly superstimulates it. This causes a massive, sharp spike in our next hormone, LH, and this switch from stop to go is what we call positive feedback.
So what does this huge LH surge actually do? It's the direct trigger for 2 major events. First, it gives the mature follicle the final push it needs to rupture and release the egg. Boom, that's ovulation. And second, it tells the empty follicle that's left behind to transform into a new structure called the corpus luteum, which becomes our next little hormone factor.
Okay, the egg is officially on its journey. We are now in Act 2 of our story, the luteal phase. And it's named after the corpus luteum, of course.
The entire focus now shifts away from growing an egg and towards getting the uterus ready just in case of pregnancy.
So, that corpus luteum gets straight to work, and its main job is to start pumping out huge amounts of progesterone. This is where progesterone steps onto the stage and completely takes over as the dominant hormone for the second half of the cycle.
So what does progesterone do? Think of it as the ultimate interior decorator for the uterus. It makes that lining even thicker, more glandular, and packed with blood vessels, perfect for an embryo. But crucially, it also sends a strong stop signal to the pituitary gland, keeping both FSH and LH levels really low. This basically puts any new follicle development on hold while the body waits to see if fertilization happens.
Now, this whole cycle is run by these things called feedback loops. I know that term can sound a bit intimidating, but I promise you it's a super simple idea once we break it down, and it's really easy to explain in an exam. Let's look at them side by side. Negative feedback is all about balance. It's just like the thermostat in your house. If hormone levels get too high, it's like the room getting too hot. The thermostat switches the system off to bring things back to normal. Now, positive feedback is the total opposite. It's not about balance. It's about building up to something big. Think of an avalanche. A little bit of snow starts rolling, which gets more snow rolling, and it gets bigger and bigger until you have a massive event. That's exactly what estrogen does to trigger that LH surge for ovulation. Here's another fantastic way to think about it, especially for progesterone and FSH. Picture a seesaw in a playground. Progesterone is the heavy one, it's in charge. When progesterone is high, like during a pregnancy, it keeps its side of the seesaw down, which pushes the FSH side way up, keeping it low. But if there's no pregnancy, progesterone levels drop. Its side of the seesaw goes up, which allows the FSH side to come down, rise again, and kickstart a brand new cycle.
Right, theory's done. Now for the most important part. How do we actually use all this information to get marks in your final matric exam? Let's do some practice.
Okay, here we go. Your first practice question. See that command word, describe? That's your clue. This is for 3 marks. What I want you to do is pause this explainer right here, grab a pen, and jot down your 3 key points. No pressure, just give it your best shot. Go on.
Okay, are you ready? Let's check out the memo and see how you did. For your first mark, you needed to say that it forms from the Graafian follicle after ovulation. Easy. Your second mark was for naming the hormone it secretes, progesterone. And for that third and final mark, you needed to state its function. It maintains the endometrium. See how describe asks for the simple facts? The what, where, and why? Easy marks if you know the story.
So I'm going to leave you with one last question to really connect all the dots. But listen, the real secret to this whole topic isn't just memorizing lists of facts. It's about understanding the logical story, the cause and effect. Once that clicks, I promise you, these questions become one of the easiest places to score marks in your entire paper. Go over this again, practice with your past papers, and you will absolutely master it. You've got this.